What up? What up? What's up, man? Microphone, Nate. Microphone. Let me get rid of this. Check mic. We good on the mic?
Yeah, I'm good.
Welcome to Word Up. There you are. Word Up episode 6. We're live on Facebook and YouTube. Something a little different today. Usually we're in the studio recording this thing, so we thought we'd try something a little different. Hopefully we get some people that pop in. It's way different today because we invited a guest, a friend of ours, Ron Tijerina, to this. He's literally the first guy that came to mind when I said we got to have guests on this thing. Now that
Yeah.
we're all isolated and we got to do this thing virtual, because he's an entrepreneur. He's a founder of an organization, and he's got faith mixed up in all of his business, man. So, um, without further ado, I will bring Ron to the show. Hey,
There
Well,
we
hello,
are.
everyone. Thank you
what's
so
up,
much
Ron?
for having me.
Hey, man, it's a
So,
pleasure.
are both you guys in California, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
I'm
I'm
in.
in Ohio.
Say that again. We broke up a bit.
So, I'm in Ohio, and I'm just
Yeah.
honored and glad to be part of what you guys are building. I'm impressed. I've been following you guys, and the thing what I love about Nate and Charlie, you guys have not stopped. No matter what has happening, you guys have not. You guys are the epitome of persistence and consistency, and I love that about you.
Well, I appreciate that. Maybe to a fault sometimes, but
Yeah.
there's definitely no stopping what we're doing. Yeah, thanks for joining us all the way from Ohio. Fortunately for you, I've been to your house, so you've got some space to move around. I'm in Orange County, so where I'm confined to 1,600 square feet here, in my loft. So how's it been going for you?
Well, as you know, you've been at our place. So we're sitting on about 2.5 acres on our property, and so we have a pond. We have a lot to do. We used to have horses. We don't anymore. So we have a lot of. We're out in the country. I think the nearest neighbor to the north of us is a half a mile down the road, and the nearest neighbor to the south of us is another almost just over a half a mile away from us. And the only neighbor that's really close is Caddy Corner across the street from our house. But other than that, we don't have any neighbors for about a good, oh man, we're talking about 4 mile circumference, right? A big square. There are no
Yeah,
neighbors. So we go down the street, we walk, we are social distancing. We've been practicing that behavior for
yeah.
a long time.
Right on. So, for those of you watching on video, you'll see Ron's got a Tyro on his hat there and on his shirt. Um, we'll get into Tyro, but tell the audience who Ron is and tell us your story, man. I've been hyping it up a little bit.
We, Well, man, my story is as ugly as it can come, man. I tell you what, we really believe that no matter what type of tragedy or mess or issues you might face in life growing up, whatever has happened to you, that there's life after those trauma, those drama experiences that you might face. And in my case, in my family's case, I went to prison for a crime I didn't commit. Now, let me qualify that by saying it doesn't mean I shouldn't have been there. Now, I served 15 years in the state penitentiary for a crime I didn't commit, but it was in that experience that I grew up and woke up. And so prior to my incarceration, I was 24 years old, 25 years old, on my way to prison, and I was just living a life of a professional percussionist in my own mind, right? I'm trying to be a rock and roller and raising a family, and I got married at the age of 20, and my wife was 19, and so we grew up, and really the truth is I was a grown man with little boy issues, but it was in prison and from the entitlement mentality, from incarceration, from food stamps, from living a cycles of generational of poverty in my own mind, man. I thinking I'm doing something, but I'm never getting ahead. But it wasn't until I got laid down, till I got knocked down, to where I got put in a place of where, you know what, look at what you're doing with your life. There's no end in sight of this cycle of self-destruction. But what happened was there was a disruption in that cycle. And in that disruption, I became a born again Christian. I began to wake up. I began to be conscious of what the world I was creating in an unconscious state of mind. And in that awakening that I had, it happened to be in my own monastery. And the monastery that I was sent to was called prison, penitentiary, La Pinta, right?
Hmm.
And it was in there that I didn't see it as a mausoleum, right? A place where you bury the dead. I saw it as a place where I can wake up and literally, like when Jesus told Lazarus, come out from the tomb, right? I literally rose up from the dead consciously, right? And woke up to a realization that, you know what, if I can create this type of experience of serving, being sentenced to 14 to 25 years and living a life of dysfunction, right? And if I can create that experience while I'm unconscious, can you imagine what I can create while I'm awake? And my wife and I, Kathy, we've been married 34 years. This coming June will be 34 years. 15 of those years I spent in the penitentiary. Now understand, this is my lady who she walked this walk with me. She journeyed this journey with me, man.
That's
And
ride or die, right?
all the way through it. Go ahead.
That's ride or die.
Man, I'm telling you, man. And you talk about, they I could talk about me, but man, my wife, man, when you talk about a Wonder Woman, they call her Wonder Woman because they wonder how she did it,
Hmm.
right? And to live out here experiencing me in prison and her on welfare and food stamps and trying to raise, we had two sons. We had two sons. They were 3 and 4 when I went to prison. But for her to rise up and to start to reinvent herself. And I'm telling you right now, we could not have done or stay together if it weren't for the power of the Holy Spirit, for the power of faith, the power of believing that there's something bigger than ourselves, right? That
Yeah.
this moment in time, this experience that we were having, there had to be a reason in the madness of it. There had to be some sanity in the insanity. And we were fortunate enough to wake up and find it, right? In the scripture, it says, for a man who finds his life will lose it, but a man who loses his life for Jesus' sake will find it. And that's what happened to us. We were able to find our purpose, our why, our existence, we were able to find our own value. And in so doing so, we were able to help other people, which we do for a living now, help other people find their value, find their worth, get up in the morning with purpose, understanding that no matter what you're going through, as long as you got breath, your story is not over. And therefore, that's how we came up with Tyro.
Hmm.
And Tyro, man, is a powerful awakening tool that once somebody is activated in it and they understand how they work, key principles that are for everyone. It doesn't matter which side of the tracks you were born on. It doesn't matter what color your skin is. As long as you know how to activate these principles, they will work for you, and we guarantee it. Just like Betty Crocker says, if you follow the recipe on this box, right, these pancakes will turn out just like the picture. But the moment you add or take away from it, then all bets are off.
Yeah.
But if you follow these clear principles, the Tyro principles, you will achieve your dreams, you will achieve your desires as long as you follow the path of success that we lay out for people. And we guarantee this. Listen, now it might be a different variables in there, but we say, listen, if you want to manifest integrity, we're going to show you how to do that. But the secret is this is learned behavior. Everybody knows how to be a lame. You guys know what a lame is, right?
Yeah.
Everybody knows how to be a lame. Everybody knows how to be selfish. Everybody knows how to do these things. But the truth is, we have to be taught on how to be a leader. We have to be taught on how to be a good person, how to be somebody worth following, somebody worth valuing. That's learned behavior.
Yeah. What does Tyro mean? Where'd you get
So
that
tyro is a
word?
Latin word which means apprentice, novice, someone learning something new, a warrior. And we teach people how to fight for their legacy. We teach families how to fight for their legacy. No longer just living check by check mentality, rent to rent mentality, food stamps to food stamps, generational cycles of poverty, incarceration, or this entitlement mentality. We empower them to start living for generations to come. We show them, look, just because the Rockefellers can do it, why can't you do it? If the Kennedys can do it, why can't you do it? But remember, this is learned behavior. People
Hmm.
have to be taught on how to build generational cycles of wealth, right? Whether that be generational cycles of peace, hope, righteousness, joy. We're not talking just for a season, just for a split moment in time. We're talking about where you can pass these principles on to the next generation that's coming behind you. And that's what we get to do at the Ridge Project, which is a nonprofit that we founded, and through our flagship curriculum called Tyro.
Yeah, that's awesome. Hey, we got a comment here. Mark Payan, look at that.
Mark, what's up, man?
You can always count on Mark.
Awesome.
Backstory: Mark's the one that introduced me to Ron back in the day, man, way back in the day. But one thing I'll say that I remember from my experience working with you is I remember filming president of some big trucking company
Yep.
somewhere out in Pennsylvania. I don't even remember where we were. We were on a little road trip, and I remember the guy's interview. He said that some of the best employees that he had were Tyros. And I remember that stuck with me because these are people that typically will be written off, you know. They'll come out and they just kind of they don't get acclimated to society, right? And then
Yep.
instead they're coming out of this program and not only are they getting these good jobs and building their new lives, but they're becoming they're becoming a status, right, of something that these companies are desiring now. It's like, how do I get more guys like that, right?
You know, that was a great memory. And we still work close hand in hand with Joe Corolla. He owns the company called PI&I Trucking,
Mm,
right? And he was the first one for the state of Ohio, which is right by Pennsylvania. His corporate office is like 2 miles from the border of Pennsylvania.
yeah,
And to say, you know what, we'll hire these guys right when they come out of prison, as long as they become a tyro, right? Because we teach character. We teach that core issue. You know, the skills, driving a semi, they're going to teach you the skills on how to get that done. Your skills will get you the job, but it's your character that will keep you there. And that's where we come in. They work on the outside, we work on the inside.
that's awesome, man.
That's good.
That's good. So, what would you say then? I mean, how can an entrepreneur, especially right now in this pandemic, take some of that Tyro mentality in what everyone's going through? Obviously, people are losing jobs and income and all this, but at the same time, there's a lot of entrepreneurs that not only are they hanging on, but there's some brave ones out there that are starting businesses right now that are seeing this as an opportunity, right? To when this thing kind of gets lifted, that they're gonna hopefully come out and build something great or rise up, as they say, right? In this
You
pandemic.
know, this is a great time to reinvent yourself. You know,
Mm,
we know a lot of people that have been, and there's nothing wrong with working for 20 years at the same factory or the same place, you know,
hmm
but a lot of times when they went and got a certain job when they were younger or maybe middle age, you know, they got it for the meantime. They got the job for the meantime until what they really wanted to do came about. So a lot of times, a lot of them people that we're working with now, you know, they're now laid off, right? And so they said, hey, look, you know, I got this job 15, 20 years ago. I never planned on staying here, but it became my job, and now I'm here 20 years. Now I'm out of a job, but what do I do? You know, I was never connected into this new media or this new social world. You know, the greatest thing about social media is there's no age. It doesn't matter how old you are with social media, and if people can really understand that. Now, you might not have the ability, right? Might not be able to work all the gadgets and stuff like that, but the one thing is that as long as you remain humble and teachable, and you want to take time to reinvent yourself and learn again, there's so much that a person can do on these platforms that they can, you know what, it's never, if you're 90 years old, guess what, you got so much wisdom and so much experience that's inside you that you could find a platform where you could divulge all that information and give it, you can build yourself as an expert in your field. And even for those entrepreneurs that maybe started, okay, so I'm going to keep it real. I'm starting. I started something on Shopify, right? But you know, I was trying to build a brand or something else, right? But this thing happened, so I had to step back and look. I said, okay, so where do I got to direct my energy in now? Now that COVID-19 kicked in, where do I got to repivot? Do I put this on the back burner or do I keep pushing it? Well, what this caused me to do is to create more on-demand learning. So that means I got to go behind the camera or in front of the camera and start creating more content on the camera. So I had to make that conscious decision. What are you going to put in the back burner, and what are you going to put your energy into, and what's going to bring you your most bang for your downtime, if you will, right? So when everybody's back on their uptime, that you're ahead of the you're ahead of the curve, you're ahead of the game, right? Because what we notice now is that people want to work from home. I tell you what, man, people want to work they don't want to work confined in the walls anymore. People want to have that freedom to log in and log out when they want to, right? And this is the great opportunity to find out, do you have what it takes? You've been dreaming about being that superstar. Everybody, when you were a kid, man, everybody had air jams, right? We had an air band, man. I picked up the sticks and got the buckets and started playing the drums.
Yep.
Right? So everybody wants to do that. Everybody was pretending to be that back in the day when we were kids and we're playing baseball, right? How many of you played baseball by yourself and you threw the ball up to play catch by yourself and you entertained yourself with saying, it's the bottom of the ninth inning, bases are loaded, bam, it's a hit, it's a hit, it could have, and he caught the ball. You see, we were always entertaining ourselves as that superhero, as that superstar. Here's your opportunity to reinvent yourself. But now listen, you got to find out first, is this really what you want to do? Because guess what? Anything worth doing, man, you better put some effort into it and you better work. That's what I love about you, Nathan and Charlie. You guys know that this is not easy. You have to be consistent and you got to create the demand when there may not be a demand. And then when you find out that there is no demand for what you're giving, you got to be willing to pivot. So a lot of people will take this personal. Nobody's liking me. Nobody's watching my video. Nobody's giving me any comments. So what? Keep going. Don't stop. Somebody will hear you. There's too many people in the world. All you need is 10,000 people to like you.
Right. And keep trying new things, I suppose, right? I mean, that's part of the thing, right? Yeah.
What's that, Nathan?
You got to find what works, right? And sometimes you got to find out what doesn't work and say that's not working.
And you got to believe in yourself. You know, and Nathan, you got to believe in yourself. If you don't believe in you, man, then nobody's going to believe in you.
That's right. But
now, if you need somebody to help you get to the place of where you can believe in yourself, then you call a guy like me. Then you call a guy like Charlie, a guy like you. You know, we can be that CEO in their life. CEO stands for Chief Encouraging Officer. And we can encourage you. We can encourage you. And that's our job. And I'll do that for you. But there comes a time that, okay, now you got to do that for you. I don't want to be Dr. Phil in your life. I want you to be Dr. Phil in your life. Become that your own self-motivator. Believe in you. And that's what being a tyro is all about. Knowing that as long as you have breath, your story's not over. No matter what you've been through, domestic violence, 2 or 3 divorces, you've been fired from your last 5 jobs, you had your house repossessed. It don't matter. Everybody's got a story. Everybody has a story. Everybody's got trauma.
Yeah.
But how are you taking advantage of what you experienced and making it work for you?
That's right. I'm going to shift. I'm going to throw a curveball at you a little bit. We did a series on, I think maybe the last episode we did of this Word Up, of generosity. Obviously, your organization, you, correct me if I'm wrong, you're a nonprofit,
right?
The Ridge Project. So there's an element of giving, right? In that alone. What's your take on the business person, the entrepreneur, the solopreneur out there, and how obviously as believers we know what generosity, how important it is in everything that we do and how we live our lives. You know, they say, "Show me your checkbook, and I'll know where your heart is." Right? There's that saying. What would you say to a business person, entrepreneur, solopreneur out there who maybe this is not part of their life. This isn't part of something they do. Even when, and I'm talking even right now when things are bad, where people are waiting. There's probably people waiting for that stimulus money right now, right? Because they can't pay the rent, right? So imagine asking someone or thinking that giving, and again, it doesn't always mean money, right? Being generous in a time like this, what kind of impact it has.
You know, I'm a firm believer in you reap what you sow.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If you sow ugly, you're going to get ugly. So what is your intent? What is your motive? What is your drive? What's your passion? Why are you doing what you're doing? and you have to be honest with yourself. You have to, and if it's to get money, then be honest about that. Say that. Don't try to cover that up. And if it's really to help people, then be honest. Because I believe in Matthew chapter 6, it says, if thou shalt seek the kingdom of God and his righteousness, then the rest will follow. So when you're giving and you're an entrepreneur and you got a desire, maybe you're trying to become a millionaire and you want to buy the big yacht and the big house, and if that's your goal, let that be your goal. Look at that and see what it is. But in order to get there, what are you willing to do to get there? Are you willing to be a cutthroat? Are you willing to just stomp on people to get where you want to go? Or do you want to help other people reach their dreams and their goals so that you can reach yours? The quickest way to achieve what you desire, when he who delights himself in the Lord, he says he will give you the desires of your heart. So the quicker you can line up with the purpose that God has birthed in you before the foundation of the world, right? The quicker he will give you the desires of your heart. And if your desires in your heart is to own your home, right? To be a home owner, literally, the bank don't own your home. All you got to do is pay taxes on it. If that's really why you're doing it, then put that down. That's your goal. Now, what are you going to do that? So when you're looking at giving, the quickest way to achieve what you want is to help others achieve their dreams and visions first. I'm a total sold out. I believe that. I've seen it. I've experienced it. One of the greatest things we do at the Rich Project, and I have a heart's desire. We have about I think about 35 full-time employees, and then we have volunteers and we have contractors, right? But I have a desire. My Kathy's and I desire. We know there's people that work for us that are still having mortgages, right? I got a mortgage, right? I have a desire to one day pay this house off, right? I have a dream. I want to pay this house off. But I can't be the only one with that type of dream. Who else that works for me has that dream? Who else is still paying a mortgage? So my goal is to see to it that our employees, whatever that might be, maybe they've never experienced buying a new car. I would love to see every one of our employees have that at least one-time experience in their life, purchasing a brand new car, paying off their home, buying property, building a legacy that they can pass on to the next generation, their children's and their children's children, right? Creating those cycles of generational wealth, right? So that they're always leaving something better. So if your intent and your motivation is to be selfish with what God has provided you with, right? Then don't get mad when the rabbit got the gun. Don't get mad when you're always seeking. If you're looking for that stimulus check and you believe that's the answer to your prayers,
Yeah.
it's gone. You can't let those material things try to fulfill the desires of your heart, because they will always be empty. Because it doesn't matter. So the question we ask our tyros, there's a question we ask, and we can ask your audience, and you guys don't have to answer it, but this is a question you really got to think about. Would you rather make $1 million, or would you rather make history? That's a legit question. What would you rather do in life? Because I know millionaires who are broke spiritually, broke emotionally, broke mentally, right? Now, physically, they in fact, they might be broken physically. Brian, how are you, man? Thanks for jumping on. But how many people do you know that their desire is to make history? History. And then when you can really answer that and put that in your heart, I want to make history. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, the rest will be added unto you.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, big shout out to my mom who's watching.
Hey, always
Yeah,
good for mom.
yeah. She's been out giving to elderly out there in El Paso. So big shout out. She's got a
Ole, hola, ama, ¿cómo está?
yeah, feeding
That's how
them,
the
getting them
people in Ohio talk
groceries and
Spanish.
stuff like that. Is that how they do it? No, that's good stuff, man. So let me frame it in a slightly different way. And we go in, Nathan and I go into this fully knowing that we turn off a lot of people when we mention, our faith or the Bible or God or whatever, because especially in our industry, there's this stigma around, religion and Christianity and that sort of thing. So people just tune it out. So we're trying to, how would you frame it in a way for someone that, for lack of a better term, non-believer, this idea of kind of reiterating what you were saying, which was that you believe that by giving or putting yourself or putting someone else in front of you that that's going to be you're going to benefit from it, so long as you're honest about what you want, right? So you're not
Yep.
doing it for the reward, but you're doing it out of an act of, kindness or
When you,
generosity.
yeah, in today's society, Christianity's really got a bad name, right? Bible thumpers and all that type of stuff. The secret to what we're doing today, you don't have to preach Jesus. And so I work in a lot of penitentiaries. I work in prisons. I work with low-income families. I work with people coming out of prison, people with halfway houses, treatment facility centers. And I'm going to tell you what, there is not a man in prison who hasn't heard about Jesus Christ. In fact, they meet him. When you go to the county jail, the first guy you get to meet, his name is Gideon, right? So the Gideon Network, right? The Gideon people, right? They give out these little Bibles or bigger Bibles. You go to a hotel and you open up the drawer. Guess what's in that drawer? There's going to be a Holy Bible in there, and it's going to be stamped right on the Bible, placed by the Gideons, right? Awesome organization, right? So everybody's heard about Jesus. The trick is, if there's such a thing, not everybody gets to meet him. So guess who they get to meet Jesus for the first time? When they meet you. When they meet you. You're the example. You don't have to preach the gospel like that. Be the gospel. Jesus said, I come in the volume of the book. They will know we are a written, living, walking epistle, a walking billboard read of all men, all people. So let your life speak for you. And if you have to preach, preach. But if you don't, your life should exemplify the word of God. You should never, I'm telling you that the song back, they will know you are Christians by our love. See, the problem is, and this is my own opinion now, there's so much preaching going on, but nobody's exemplifying, right? There's a story of two monks, and one's an apprentice, and the other one is the master, if you will, right? So he says to the apprentice, "Come on, let's go to town. We're gonna go to town and preach the word." And the young apprentice is all excited. He said, let's go, man. So they go to town and they walk for hours, and they go to the market and to the mall, and they're walking and walking. And it was from sun up till sundown. And they got back to the monastery, and the young apprentice says, "Hey, teacher, I thought you said we were going to go down and preach. What was that about?" He said, "We did. Speak if you have to." So that's what people are hungry for. People are hungry for the real story, the real McCoy. Seeing is believing where they come from. And when you understand that seeing is believing where they come from, see, where we walk, the way we walk by faith, not by sight. They don't walk by faith like that. Seeing is believing. So you got to show them. Like that. What state is that? The show me state. Is that Missouri or Mississippi? Missouri? The show me
I don't
state?
even know. Yeah, I don't know.
One of those states is the show me state. So when
Yeah.
you know that seeing is believing where they come from, let them see it. Let them feel it. So when you walk into the room, your presence, you're a change agent. Your influence is exemplified is through you, right? Your aura is about that power, the anointing that's upon you. You should never have to speak to tell somebody, I'm born again Christian. Your aura, your presence should create a different atmosphere wherever you go. It should change the whole world around you. Now
Yeah.
that's word up.
Preach
Dang.
it, bro. Preach
Yeah,
it.
that's it. That is it.
Yeah, it's funny. We've had occasions where we've had people. I mean, we do a lot. We conduct a lot of the business development work as a pair, typically. Nathan and I, because we're the founders of the agency, um, and we've had occasions where people are like, yeah, or maybe the price tag. We're a premium, I guess, service compared to others out there, and there's been occasions where we land the work because there's something about you guys. We know what the something is,
Yep.
or at least we believe it is, and yeah, sometimes we just look at each other, we're like, man, we have no business, in this. We have no business here, and yet we're here. We're it's a client maybe we were hoping to get, or a big opportunity, and then there we are, in it. We're like, what are we doing here? We don't belong here, but yet here
But
we
you know
are.
what? We call that favor. The
Favor,
favor of
yeah.
God is like a shield. In Psalms, it's written, right?
Yeah.
The shield that's around you, and people don't recognize it unless we're of like-mindedness.
Hmm.
See, and so the favor that's upon the two of you, that anointing that you guys are carrying, they're like, how did you, and other people, how did you even get here? And you're going to have, you already know it, you have haters in your life, people who are always judging and telling you, who do you think you are and all that. You guys are just big dreamers. Joseph, he's a dreamer. He was a dreamer, right? The
Hmm.
story about Joseph, that's my story. That's my story to the T,
No
right?
joke. Yeah.
The dreamer. I was told I'm a dreamer. When I was in prison, people would laugh at me and constantly tell me you will never amount to anything. Nobody will listen to you. Who do you think you are? This is way before social media. This is way back in the early 90s. And I'm believing that there's a purpose in my life, that I didn't end up in this confined quarters just to deteriorate. But this caused me to wake up and grow and to become better, not bitter. So the word haters, when I began to really understand that maybe you don't know the acronym, HATERS. You ever hear this? Having anger towards everyone reaching success, right? That's what a
Mm.
hater is. And but it takes one to what? It takes one to know one. So I used to be a
Hmm.
hater in people's life. I used to do that. I used to be that person that was always, who do you think you are? Man, why? Because in my own insecurities, growing up to become a man with little boy issues, my own insecurities would manifest by judging and condemning others of their greatness. And that's what really hurt me as I began to realize, oh my gosh, I am the poison in people's lives, right?
Yeah.
And so with Tyro teaches people to embrace that I used to be the person that we say this to ourselves. I used to be the snake that was spewing venom wherever I went. Now I must become the antidote in people's lives,
Mm.
right? So I grow up to become now the anti-venom, no
Hmm.
longer the venom.
Powerful stuff, man. Good stuff. So what's next for what are you working on currently?
Ooh,
Obviously the
top,
the Ridge
top.
project's going top secret.
Now we're actually working on demand right now. We're working with some companies right now because we work inside prisons, so all the prisons are shut down, right? And in the
Mm.
state of Ohio, it's pretty bad in some of these prisons. So keep them in prayer.
Hmm.
There's one prison, I think they got like 2,600 men incarcerated in this particular prison. 1,800 of them have tested positive for COVID
Wow.
out of this
Oh,
one prison in Ohio. So
that's
it's some crazy
crazy.
stuff. That's and then the
How does that
guard.
how does that even happen? Is just the
Well, it's
guards getting.
recycled air, man. It's you're confined in a unit in these buildings that were built in the 1800s or early 1900s, where they weren't building dormitories that were like a barracks. They were everybody's housed in one complete complex,
Mm.
right? So you go to the commissary in the same building you're living in. You go to the library. You're just going down the halls in these places. And so this is air that's constantly being recirculated. My theory is, it's airborne, right? So everybody's breathing it. So if you got a guard coming in from the streets and he doesn't know he's a carrier, boom, he just exposed everybody unknowingly, right?
Yeah, man,
And
that's
so they're doing a lot of testing, and we're just doing a lot of praying now for our prisons in Ohio, our staff, because we're
yeah.
working with them diligently and encouraging them. We have what is called in Ohio, and this is across the United States. So our program, Tyro, we're currently in, I believe, 14 states and 4 different countries with our program, right? So we've been able to scale. And so we do what is called JPay. JPay is an email system that inmates have throughout the United States where they can email their family back and forth. So we send emails to the Tyros who took our program and just words of affirmation, words of encouragement. Keep your head up. Stay focused. Don't get knocked off your square. Stay the course. We teach a concept called DTIP, where it stands for don't take it personal. And we teach an entire workshop what that looks like. Because if you don't take it personal, because it's not about you, it's
Right.
not about me, right? People with road rage on the streets do cut them off. They take it personal, like that guy did that on purpose. Like he woke up in the morning saying, you know what? When I get on the highway, I'm going to cut off so and so. Dude didn't mean to cut you off. It just happened. But guess what?
Hmm.
They take it personal. They go into road rage. They throw a temper tantrum, and people get hurt.
Yeah. So you
So
guys are trying to transition to, like you mentioned, on demand. Is
So we're doing online learning with the. We were
Mhm.
already in that position. We've been ahead of the curve where we've
Okay.
got on-demand learning. We're constantly creating new content on videos, programming that people can download and actually purchase. What do you want to do? If you want to become a Tyro, you can download the series to become a Tyro and what it looks like. Right, take the whole curriculum online, and we're continually developing that content. So we got Tyro dads, Tyro moms, Tyro Man of God, Tyro Woman of God, Tyro Jet, which is job ethics training. We also teach marriage curriculum, so we have public communication classes, and then we teach professional development, core communication, and let's see what else we got. We have a youth program called Tyro Youth, and this is some powerful curriculum that we teach kids on how to practice abstinence. We believe that kids can, with the right fortitude and the right lessons and the right belief system, that they can practice self-control, right? That they can save themselves until that right man or that right woman comes along, and they can be that holistic, that whole couple, right, if you will.
Right. Yeah. That's good stuff. Um, cool. Well, appreciate you spending some time with us. Do you, where can people find you? Obviously, social media.
Well, you can
Um,
follow me on Facebook. I go live quite a few nights a week at Tijerina Triumph Tips. It's at it's Tijerina Tips, Tijerina Tips, Tijerina Tips, and it'll come up Tijerina Triumph Tips, and then my own personal page, Ron Tijerina, and then I'm on Instagram also, Ron Tijerina, and then our website, The Ridge Project, which is really important, is theridgeproject.com. Right, but we also have our for-profit company, which is our fulfillment company. And if there's anybody out there who wants to become empowered on how to deliver this award-winning content, evidence-based curriculum, go to tss365.com. No, it's Tyro365.com, Tyro365.com, which is our company, Tyro Support Services, and they're the fulfillment company that help navigate and empower other organizations and other people how to deliver this content.
did
So
I get
that's
that right?
Tyro365.com. There it is. You're in the Triumph Tips. Yeah.
Cool.
Thanks, Brian.
I'm assuming Brian's on
There
your
you go.
side.
Oh yeah, he's
Yeah.
champion Brian. Well, we love him.
Cool. Yeah, we got people from Facebook and YouTube we're watching, so it's a pretty cool little platform. We've never done it this way. Um, looks pretty good.
Yeah, you have to show
Ron,
me how to do this because one of the things I want to do is my brother's a musician and
yeah,
I played the drums before I went to prison. And we've been talking to him because he's going live on Facebook. And I said, hey, let me take out my drums, man. We'll do a little concert. I'll be on the drums or the congas, and you can play the
yeah.
guitar and sing.
There you go.
You have to show me how to do
How,
this.
yeah. How are you guys doing? Like church and all that? It's all online and everything, just
It's
like
all
everybody
online.
else. Yeah.
Yeah, we just stay home and turn on Facebook and watch our pastor preach
Yeah.
and yeah.
Pretty cool. Um, yeah. Brian's saying the Zoom is great. So how's Zoom working out for you guys? Because I know we've been using it pretty frequently.
We
Or,
do Zoom. Zoom is wonderful, and we also for like internally all our staff. We have all our leadership meetings and stuff across the state of Ohio. We do Teams. Are you familiar with
oh
Teams?
yeah, Microsoft Teams.
Yep,
Yeah.
that is an awesome software program. And my oldest, our two sons, they were 3 and 4 when I was in prison, and so now they work for us full time. So they're married. Our oldest son Blake, he's the mayor of his town, and
What?
yeah, he's the mayor of his town, and he's got
Wow.
super children. And then Brandon, he's married also. He has 3 beautiful children. So we got 5 grandkids. And
Awesome.
our daughter-in-law, Blake's wife, actually also she works for us, and it's just amazing. So teams. So Blake is ahead of that type of stuff, and he's caused us to be ahead of this curve. So we was already doing this stuff before
Yeah.
all this.
That's good. That's
So
good. Well, it's good to see you, man. Good to talk to you. I follow you on Instagram, obviously, and I got your 1 minute motos
oh yeah,
on
thank you,
there.
man.
So keep those up. Your energy's always high, man, and it's infectious. So appreciate it. Keep doing what you're doing. Go check out tyro365.com and theridgeproject.com, and then or you can look them up on Facebook. Yeah, man. Come back
Awesome.
and talk to us another time.
Thank you for having me, Nate. Great seeing you. I
Appreciate
love
it.
your sunglasses.
Thanks, Ron. Thanks for the encouragement, man. That was amazing. Thank you.
You guys are awesome, man. You guys are awesome. I really appreciate. I'm telling you, man. When you talk about persistence, and no matter what's coming at you, you guys have. I've been really impressed and really blessed to watch you guys continue to move the needle, personally and professionally. So thank you for that.
Oh yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks, Ron. Say hi to the family.
I will, man. God bless
God bless
everybody.
you, brother. That was awesome, man.
Yeah, that was
This
great.
little studio is pretty. It's pretty legit. Thanks everyone for sticking around. All 8 of you. Um, we appreciate it. Word up, episode 6. We're gonna bring you a couple more guests this week if we can. I'm sending a couple of emails to some people to see if they'll join us. This makes it super easy, and we can book it whenever everyone's free. So we love it. Appreciate it. Check out our YouTube channel, subscribe, so you get notifications when this stuff goes live. So yeah, no reason to drag it on. I ain't got nothing else to add to that.
No,
Right?
quit while we're ahead.
Quit while we're ahead. See you guys. Peace.
All right, see ya.